afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything amazing Propagandacast. Me, your host Imperial Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda. Off here to a 1 vs 1 owner. Langraskaya. In the north, it is Jove fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Taking on the role here of the 7th Panzer Division with mechanized assault spearhead and Jaeger infantry, triple infantry versus the south. It is a Luvnest, the one and only Luvnest, fighting for the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin and the Soviet peoples. Taking on the role here of the 10th Tank Corps with armored assault, triple infantry. And as always, please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and press the bell button if you do subscribe. So YouTube is 17.56% more likely to actually remember you. Ask to be reminded of videos I put out. Gonna the MG42 there for Jove. Double contra there for Luvnest. Contra coming up the eastern side here. An aggressive push there against Jove to sort of throw him off his early game there. Bold play there by Luvnest. Of course, there's other forces being dispatched westward to secure that for the glory of Comrade Stalin. Constant moving up there. MD Pioneers moving up the east on their own. Going to the MD42 moving more together, sort of in unison, but quickly splitting up there. Third conscript on the way there for Luvnest and the Red Army. And there we go. First engagement happening here, but the eastern point that's going to force Jove to draw force away there, of course, from the center to react to this. And even sandbags. I really like this sort of aggressive, disruptive play by Luvnest. He's really just trying to throw off Jove from his early game, and it's actually not sort of play you usually see on Langraskaya. It's usually sort of more like you stick to your part of the road, they stick to their part of the road, and so that's it. But here, Luvnest is much more aggressively trying to throw off his opponent's early game by this move, and that's a really sort of, I think, interesting move there by Luvnest. And again, it's just once a lot for, like, again, how Langraskaya's play is just very rarely, in fact, you never see that almost. And particularly him laying down sandbags, I think is sort of even more interesting. So I really like this play because see the Jove, he wants to defend here, but at the same time, if you leave sort of self, push the super hot things, going to leave other parts sort of undefended. So he basically sort of leaves Jove there in a slightly tricky position. Like, where does he go for? Like, he wants the fuel, but at the same time, again, he's so extending himself, which is a bit of a mistake there, to be honest, by Jove. So he can't really easily react to this either. So it's a really clever play there by Luvnest that really just gives Jove a very hard time. We got 4th contra all the way there, and the MG42 again is really being caught up out of position. This is, I'm not entirely sure what Jove is hoping to do. This is obviously hoping to play aggressively against his opponent similarly. Ooh, second MG42, but it's just, I think, too aggressive to really pan out. There you go, though. Small engagement here, actually being won here by Jove. Conscripts push back there. Good allow him to focus on the east side to help deal with the conscripts there. And the MG42 sort of now far behind enemy lines. Sandbags here being tossed down by Luvnest conscripts. In the background, Bassil's meowing about because that's Bassil. Seizing the eastern victory point here, grabbing the munitions. MG42 almost done. Certainly a response, I think, there to the conscript play there from Luvnest. This is being so aggressive, so fluid that he's basically going for another MG42 to that way provide himself with more suppressive firepower. Versus Luvnest aggressive infantry antics. It certainly shows how just much Jove sort of respects it. But again, this MG42 I feel like is a really weird one, and he definitely needs to retreat it soon. Like, this is otherwise I think just begging for an MG42 doing nothing, but very crucially doing nothing, then ending up in Luvnest's hands, which would be really bad for Jove, and certainly not improve upon the already slightly awkward state of things here. Holding off there, he's actually going for the carve point with the MG42. I mean, you gotta admit, this is some sheer brazen balls that Jove's got on him. I mean, using the MG42 to like harass his opponent's carve point is just balls to the wall. It's insane. Like, I'm sure he's literally slapping his walls with his balls at that very moment. No, they're getting caught up in the sandbags. What the devil? They're not trying to get around it. They're just sort of like, okay, there we go. He's grabbing the point there. More points being seized. Absolutely astounding series of opening minutes here between these two highly ranked and highly respected players. They got contra there charging the Grenadiers here by the point here. Need to retreat the Grenadiers soon. They're not looking too good there. Take up almost done there for Jove. Some Pentagonators early will be a great choice here for Jove. Some elite infantry, which to show Luvnest the true power of Deutschland. Or in this case, apparently take up for 2-2s and show him the true power of the German automotive industry. Barbed wire going down there around the point here. Grenadiers versus conscripts there, but without any sort of east way flushing out. The conscripts should have a good chance over the Grenadiers. That or he brings up more firepower. We got the MG42 moving in here, troops reinforcing. Still no doctoral choice here for Jove. Jaeger infantry could be an option. G43s could be helpful. Plus, with the two MG42s, ambush camouflage certainly gains a bit more. He's doing it again. He's sending in the MG42 behind Luvnest's lines. The absolute madness that's going on there within Jove's head. Grenadiers versus conscripts there. Tech done. More engineers in the way there for Luvnest, who is yet to take up. He has medics, no Molotovs though. Not going to take up an there. MG42 caught off guard with the conscript. I mean, he's just handling those MG42s so aggressively. I mean, I know I'd say, you know, use your machine guns actively, but this is taking a bit too far. This is taking it a bit too far. Grenadiers holding out watch there. MG42 versus conscripts there. Back here will soon be probably going for the 2-2, or he could of course consider the flamethrower half take, see if there's all the infantry that Luvnest is about, and sort of try to swing it back aggressively against versus Luvnest. And we do just get the 2-2 here. No munitions are being expended on light machine guns or something like. He should be then spending the missions on upgrading his Grenadiers as fast as possible. He needs more firepower then versus the conscripts on a more, you know, personal basis. Mines up here for Luvnest, who is yet to take up. Just mines, and there you go. Engineers pushing back the Grenadiers. That's going to be a treat there for Jove. Medic bunker could also be an idea in the near future for Jove, and he's going straight for the carve point. Again, Jove knows no limits, knows no mercy. MG42 ball, he needs to get out of there. Got the point here, and on mine goes off. This time Luvnest was prepared for Jove going for the carve point. He was ready. Somewhat. 2-2, the army here, going to push straight for the fuel point to put a stop there to Luvnest antics. Gonna need to retreat, and there you go, Jaeger infantry. Jaeger command squad will be a really good pick here for Jove. There we go, 5-man squad with a lot of G33s, plus of course just more G33s for the other Grenadiers, which certainly increases firepower on the move here versus Luvnest infantry. Fuel point rendered neutral. Jove's 2-2 was not swift enough. Graham here the point again. Jove might also consider laying down some mines here and there to catch up some of Luvnest infantry. That could be a very good investment. Flare mines here on the car, around the car point. Good work. An absolutely hectic match here between these two very hectic players. Just going off there. And there we go, we do get S-mines on the victory point, but he's going to have to retreat here. Also, he may, of course, just signal there to Luvnest that he needs to get minesweepers up. And he is, in fact, getting those. Tank of 10 coming up as well, and he's going to be able to push for a fast T-70 here versus Jove, who's Jaeger command squad there's going back to the eastern fuel point. Might be better to leave something with less immediate combat impact to that, like, say, the ND42 there, for example, to hang out there, I suppose. That's just me. And I'm obviously not Jove. Medic bunker there up for Jove finally. 10-10 command up, and Luvnest will soon be able to go for the T-70, in fact, very soon. MG42 blast away Grenadiers there are not seeing any upgrades as of yet. Now there are the Pioneers. And there you go, anti-tank on the 2-2, leaving Jove's armoured car there in a bit of a tight spot. Troops here reinforcing. Well, they have reinforced, getting ready to move up. We got MG42 caught in a bit of a bad spot there by the centre. Ambush camouflage from machine guns. Very good upgrade there. They can really benefit from. In this case, though, set up in a slightly awkward position. Their conscripts are too close. And that sort of highlights one of the weaknesses. The MG42 first gets caught off in a bad spot. It really can't easily stabilise, which is usually, again, why it's a better offensive weapon. Because that way, you're usually dictating the pace and got infantry to help cover up better. Whereas on defensive, that usually sort of just highlights the flaw more. But there you go. In this case, the Luvnest wasn't quite paying attention, I think. And immediately got his men hosed down there. T-70 almost down there for Luvnest and the Red Army. Conscripts charging out the Grenadiers here as the engineers are forced to run away. Well, the engineers forced to run away. The rest are dead, which precludes them from running. Yeah, command squad there, engaging the conscripts up close, of course, with their G33s and their camouflage uniforms. They are coming the conscripts with their brawn and tenacity. Conscripts there being slowly gutted here by the G33s. T-70 setting out there for Luvnest. Conscript being suppressed. Grenadiers moving ahead. Pack 40 almost down there for Joe. He was obviously anticipating Luvnest going for the T-70 light tank. There you go. Pack 40 out. 2-2 good to go again for Joe, which was noted by the 2-2 was based off a car design as more of a civilian one. The one the German army also used for sort of transporting troops around. I think it was a Hawk car or something like that. I can't remember the specific number. Conscripts down their own. MG42 2-2 there, trying to slowly push them back. We got 40 December versus 36. Jove's aggressive harassment strategy so far has to at least to some degree paid off against Luvnest, though we'll have to see for how much longer they last. Luvnest moving about their minesweepers in case Jove has been busy mining over here, which he hasn't. So far again, the only mines have been here. by the Western Victory Point. There we go, T7 strikes here. It's Jove's 222 MD4 setting up, though even with the Incendium pistol round, the overall impact on the T7 light tank will be somewhat limited. In the side, though, the assault continues here. Jove's response, meanwhile, is not quite as apparent. In fact, some more sharpened viewers might say, in fact, there is no response, or at least there's barely one. Resource being saved up could be Jove's planning for a faster support core here versus Luvnest and the Elite Army. That's what Luvnest is planning for next, who knows, but T-35 could be a really good option to push against Jove. Of course, he could be seeking to stall for the IS-2 heavy tank. More on the way there for Luvnest. And demo charge there by the house. Very cheeky, very cheeky. Again for the T-70. Anyway, it's going to be heading westwards there with a light machine gun. Demo charge goes off, exploding the Jaeger command squad. Though, of course, Jove, quick on the trigger finger there, replaces them with ease, and of course, without telling the new guys what happened to the other guys. Just that they had an accident. Which, of course, means several kilos of TNT went off in a building right next to them, collapsed on the building on top of them. If the explosion didn't outright just kill them. That's a typical Eastern Front accident. Seizing the point here. T-7 landing, taking a nasty hit there from the Pack 40 to continue to hold off infantry on the eastern side, though with some limited success. Jaeger commands were going for the fuel point here. I'm guessing Joe will be a bit more cautious around buildings now, in case Luvnest has been demo charging more. Since I'm imagining Joe has no intent of having more of his men suffer any accidents. Mortar there, continue to blast away. Not making the biggest impact yet there on Joe, but that can of course quickly build up. Joe could attempt to go for a counter mortar of his own. Not for the counter barrage ability, just for the proper barrage to sort of shoot it to bits. I don't think I've seen anyone yet use the counter barrage ability, and I've personally tried it myself so far. I still think they just need to replace the ability entirely. Joe going for Panzer Grenadier. Kind of would have figured he might have gone for attack first here and have tried to push for Panzers, but certainly a Panzer Grenadier squad could give Luvnest a bit of a rough time. More mines going off here. Panzer squad almost done. MD4 took them the conscripts, quickly suppress them. Ambush camouflage also going off a bit there. Very good. Got the point here. There we go. Panzer Grenadier out. Can benefit from ambush camouflage as well. Light machine gun on the way there for the second. Grenadier squad there for Jove and Germany. Pioneers moving out. Flare mine goes off the 2-2. Accidentally sets it off there with its auto cannon. Panzer's moving up under cover the MD42. No upgrades there. No G for the fees. No ambush camouflage. No nothing. Obviously, do not personally recommend the G for the fees. They are apparently some that are big fans of them now. They're being buffed. Engineers almost taken up with the 2-2, but they do manage a hasty escape here. A lot of action across the frontier between Luvnest and Jove. Jaeger command squad advancing. Mortar crew there finding themselves slightly harassed by it, but nothing bigger. But overall, lots of action here. No tech up still there for Jove. Luvnest has teched up. In fact, he's got the mechanized armor company ready. Could push for the T-34-76 already, just begin hounding Jove with it. We could of course stay a bit up for a bit longer, go for the T-35 and start to give Jove a really tough time. Of course, he could just try and stall for the IS-2 heavy tank, but there you go. Luvnest of course knows that your stalling for a heavy tank is a bit silly, and of course commits first to the T-34-76. Ready to give Jove there a very uncomfortable time since we've got one Pack 40 to try and stop. And again, no, Jove is just playing really aggressively with the stuff in his support weapons. I mean, he just is not afraid of Luvnest or what he can do. Jove knows no fear. Or if he does, it's not quite the kind of fear that we normal mortals know of. T-3476 almost done there. T-7 rolling ahead here. Trying to take out that T-70, but there you go. Damaged the engine, but the Pak-40 shot there basically didn't hit at all. And there you go. Luvnest got the T-3476 medium tank rolling out, ready to confront the fascists with a lot of Soviet steel and machine guns. And we got takeover there for Jove. So Promocor finally happening. Could have happened a bit sooner. Could have had that all going up, I think, sooner. At which point it could roughly by now already then having a Panzer IV or Stug out, or at least begin being produced. So definitely feel like that could have been done with a bit more accuracy there by Jove. A bit sloppy, just a bit. Panzer comes there holding off the comes on the eastern side. 2-2 of course joining in, closing and vetting free on that one. Good preservation and usage of the 2-2 by Jove and the German army. Jove continues the lead here on victory points over Luvnest. The Luvnest of course has proven to be a very cheeky and bricky opponent. Take up almost done. Troops reinforcing. Grenadiers not being upgraded with ambush camouflage. Note by the way, if Grenadiers upgrade with anything like light machine guns or G33s, they ambush quite a bit, or benefit quite a bit there from ambush camouflage. And of course, Panzer Grenadiers also do. T-3476 moving ahead here for Luvnest. And this was engineers there. Here commands got the T-70 light tank, 7 kills on it. Okay, Jove apparently decides to throw all caution to the wind and then throw all caution out the window, straight up defenestrating it by going straight for T4, despite his opponent already having a tank out. That is certainly very courageous there by Jove. Very brazen. Ballsy. Unit there got wiped out. That's going to be a bit of a loss there. Pak-40 trying to get to safe distance, but the T-3476 is not going to make it easy. In fact, clears out the Pak crew quite expertly. In fact, could risk destroying the Pak-40 before Jove could crew it, which would certainly then punish Jove further for not just pushing straight for medium armor. And even again, if he's planning for T4, you could at least have that set up faster. So, again, a bit awkward there. There you go. Luvnest is destroying the Pak-40 since there's nothing that can really prevent him from it at the moment. Which will then force Jove to either upgrade the Panzer Grenadiers with Panzer Shreks, or of course go for another Pak-40, or that will cancel his Tier 4 plans. I mean, either way, the Jove situation here got notably a bit worse by loss of that Pak-40 in that way. And there you go, it looks like Jove has pretty much just consigned the whole Tier 4 plan to an early grave, as, well, again, he can't stall for it now as easily. And again, there's tanks on the loose, and he needs something to stop those tanks. And he's clearly not keen on the whole double Panzer Shrek plan for the time being. So while he's grabbing the western field pump thumbs up there, by the way, he's also heading for the eastern one and posing for some medium armor. There we go. Panzer Kampfwagen Fear there for Jove. Might need some Stugs down the road, since, I mean, there's certainly the potential of Luvnest going for the eyes too, and that's something I think Luvnest or Jove should be leaving out as possible planning there. So Panzer on the way there for Jove, and the 7th Panzer Division machine gun moving about there ambushed. Other one also got ambush camouflage ready. The fighting though has not been kind to Jove, and the 7th Panzer Division here's Luvnest, and the 10th Tank Corps gets ready for another assault against the fascists. Two being repaired, troops healing reinforcing, Panzer almost down there for Jove. T-34 is going for the Panzer of the Pole. Ludwig there drops dead. We got the Panzer out there for Jove. T-34 fall back Jove there. Luvnest quick to lay down sandbags there. Though Jove's Panzer IV and 2-2 could put a bit of a stop to that. Not by the 2-2's Islam. 21 kills by really good job there by Jove, just getting a lot of value. And there you go. Constant casualties piling up. And then of course they have been upgraded with the 7-man squads, every single one of them. Cover they're shattered, and the rest of the conscripts just make a very hasty retreat here in the face of such fascist opposition. Field gun ready here. Obviously, Luvnest knows where the assault's going to come. It's going to be a counterattack here, so he's ready there to receive it head on. Another Pack 40 there for Jove, suffering under the intricate assault plans there of Luvnest. Engineers being suppressed by the MB42. They've of course got a maximum and the MB42 in return. And Luvnest of course still has his mortar wedge. Jove still has, well, basically only the light artillery barrages as artillery support. Looks like Jove is trying to make a sort of swift maneuver here to outmaneuver Luvnest, basically figuring out he might be walking into a trap Neeson, points and heading for centre west. Not necessarily a bad idea here versus his opponent, if you can sort of carry through with sufficient force versus Luvnest. Otherwise, well, obviously he's not going to get much more progress there. Panzers on the 5 from the T-70. 300 points left here for Jove as the situation is rapidly turning against him there in that department. Whereas now it's Luvnest's time to be in the lead, to be in charge. 23 kills on that 2-2. That is definitely earned itself in quite a bit there for Jove. Panther moving up, shoots, misses the T-70 though. Misses it. 24 kills. Value continues. T-34 forces moving in. Panzers they need to retreat. Good hit from the Panther 4 on the T-34. And there you go. Field gun joining in. Pack 4 no need to be seen. And he still doesn't have enough command points to call in the Stuka air support to maybe disrupt Luvnest armoured movements there. 2-2 needs to get away as well. Oh dear. Did not make it. And it's finally met the end of its line there. MG4s and U's in point blank range. And the Engineers there, I think, earn a good chance of getting wiped out. The mortar's doing quite a number on it. There you go. The Engineers perish. The flamethrower dropped only for another Engineer squad to pick it up and vow to avenge their fallen brethren by burning more fascists. Gunners MB4 going for the eastern point once more. Luvnest is dug in with sandbags. Thumbs up there. Panther 4 in dire need repairs there. H2 could be a good idea here for Jove to sort of put pressure on Luvnest's armour. Of course, you could also go for an Ostwind for infantry dealings and maybe also the T-70. Of course, I mean, the question is Jove aware of the possibility of an IS-2 for Luvnest? Because, I mean, if he is, he really should be going for Stugs. Okay, he's going for Panzerschrecks. The Raketen Panzerbüchse. Which means less anti-infantry. So I'm not entirely sure what the plan is here for Joe. Maybe another Panzer 4, which are still at the same time enough anti-tank firepower to at least temporarily scale out an IS-2. Or there's something else going on there. Nice weapon pack 40 and before to getting better T2 there. Panther 4 being slowly fixed up there by Joe once more before to come up. They get a flak pants on the way there for Joe. That's an interesting pigment. Obviously it's going to be helpful as the infantry and the support weapons, but versus the IS-2 it's going to be distinctly not good. Not cutting it at all in fact. So I mean, if Jove is aware again that Luvnest is likely pushing for an IS-2, he in fact soon will have it, and the Ostwind is an incredibly ballsy move. Of course, this match has been very typified by ballsy moves by Jove, though obviously not all of them have been as successful as others. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out here for Jove versus Luvnest. Flak Panzer almost done. There we go, Flak Panzer out. T for the first and there you go, at the 23, almost 24 minute mark. Luvnest calls forth the IS-2 from the rear lines to shatter a hole in the fascist lines and open up the way to Berlin. Or at least Wuppertal. Anyways, IS-2 moving ahead here should add the Penlight machine gun there for added anti-infantry ability. There we go. So there you go. Ostwind there is going to be in for a really nasty surprise, and there you go. The 122mm shell of the IS-2 easily impacts upon the Ostwind's armour. Field gun shoots, misses. Pack 40 shoots, misses the IS-2 with a resounding splat. Oh, as it hits the ground, I guess. Or thought, I suppose, a more correct splat would indicate that actually it hit something a bit more squishy than dirt. Panther 4 opening up there. 4 kills, close veterans to 1. Flak Panther tearing into the conscripts with reckless abandon. pushing for the centre, not by Jove. Finally has brought up a mortar in response to Luvnest, and there you go. Air support called in the Stuka Kanonenvogel, flying in to engage Luvnest's armour. Landing hits on the IS-2, some penetrate, most penetrate, some do fail. Country's all taking a few hits there as well. IS-2 down to less than half health. But Jove, though, lacks sort of the ability to quickly pursue and take it out since he doesn't have a Stug. The Flak Panzer isn't exactly a good anti-heavy tank vehicle. I mean, if the IS-2 was flying, maybe the Austrian would have a chance against it, but it isn't. Comes there being annihilated though, not the best move there by Luvnest. Small chance for Jove to get a good wipe here on Luvnest, which would help Jove a bit, but obviously wouldn't deal with the IS-2. And even here, sadly, things don't quite pull through for Jove and the German army. 153 versus 304. And they need to get away before they get annihilated here by Luvnest armoured forces. Maximum carry in the centre here, 6 kills, veteran 2-1. Troops healing, reinforcing. 3 kills in the mortar, closing on the veteran 2-1. More pioneers for Jove to help repair his armoured forces, which then have seen better days and could benefit a lot from a Stug. A Sturmgeschütz. Mortar fire raining back and forth here between the two sides. Luvnest's got a nice build up in the centre. Jove, the lacks any sort of major artillery to sort of really just deal with that. And while he could lay down the smoke screen, he simply lacks any sort of assault force that can sort of break through and deal the damage there to Luvnest necessary. Going for the Eastern victory point, which is the only one that is regularly under Jove's control here. Flak Panzer doing its job here, at least its best. Close to veteran 2-1 already. 11 kills so far. Got a bit of movement here on the west side there by Jove, very good. And go Concepts routed, Flak Panzer veteran 2-1, 12 kills. MD42 there, 7 kills. And ace level, so good. We got 135 versus 338. And we got Luvnest's heavy tank ready on the move gun, and we're up on the right flank here, which is also where Jove has fewest eyes and also is weakest. So good move there by Luvnest, looking for the easiest path to deliver the most damage by delivering the largest tank possible through it. Direct hit there. Machine gun, the meanwhile, takes a hit from the IS-2. That's going to force a retreat there from Jove. He's grabbing the Western victory point again. Jove is not far away from being able to go for a Sturmgeschütz 3 Ausführung geht. Of course, the question is, will he then go for it, or will he have other plans here versus Luvnest? 124 versus 336. T-54 on the prowl, half H veteran 3 there, 10 kills. Contra going for the point, they need to get the Austrian on that one. Pack 40 covering up as well, but even then, 1 Pack 40 versus an IS-2 is not exactly a good force count there, good engagement there for Jove. There you go, it's 2 million head, Pack 40. Could maybe try and get off a target weak point. The rest of the IS-2 in there you go, loading up there. Drag head down on the Flak Panzer. There we go, stuns up the IS-2, but lacks firepower to really finish it off with, or follow up with. We got 117 versus 336. Panther 4 charging ahead. Blasting forwards. Mortar fire raining down in the field gun. Almost about to lose the Panther 4, which is definitely a bad development there for Jove. Panzer Jaeger's moving up. They get Baltalading on the field gun. Clearing out most of the crew, but 2 men survive for the Panzer attempt to force clear out there. Moving up with the T-54, Panther 4 go down there. Go heavy damage on the T-54. We got the Armoured on the other side. Panzer Jaeger's there suffering excruciating casualties as most of the unit gets taken out in matter moments. Panzer 4 gaining virtually 2 shirts and added. T-54 from 6 pushing ahead. Pack 4 not pointing, and there you go. Cutting up on the other side. Either way, that Panther 4 thing is dead, and with that, Jove, I think, is in a lot of trouble now. He's still got the Flak Panzer, but he's lost his pack, he's lost his Panzer 4, and Luvnest has not lost his IS-2. And there you go with this. GG, game over. A loss for the German army, a victory for the red one. A brutal fight here on Langraskaya with a lot of aggressive tactics and strategies on display for both players. In the end, Jove feel like struggled a bit, could have taken that faster. And you could look at that medium armor fast as well. I feel like in this case, again, part of the issue is just he's trying to push for tier 4, I think, with the not enough sufficient bases there. And I think he also was a bit too slow in going through mortar there versus Luvnest. But I would say an interesting, exciting, riveting fight right here in Langraskaya, and I hope you fought as well. Hope you liked it. If you did, again, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. This is Imperial Links and cheers. Thanks for watching. You're all a wonderful audience. I'll see you all tomorrow again for a nice episode. Bye.